Hello.
We're live.
All right. You haven't
Good
started.
afternoon. Good evening. I'm Z, and you're listening to the Bryant Consulting Show. We're on CZ1, Episode 6, and tonight we're going to be talking about remembering Paul Mooney, coronavirus vaccine, and underlying conditions. We're going to go over the global, cryptocurrencies, and the prices of the lumber and the plywood currently. All right. So my co-host, Mr. Bright, will be moderating the show with me tonight. How you doing
Hey,
today, Mr. Bright?
I'm doing fine. Rodney Bright here, youth mentor, life coach, and also I'm a self-proclaimed MOB, Minister of the Bright Family. How may I
All
serve you?
right. Get it. So it's a pleasure to have you on the show, like always, Mr. Bright. And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate any and everybody that's tuning in tonight. Thank you all for your time to listen to our show tonight. Um, we're going to be talking about different things. And I always say that someone in the world may be motivated or inspired by your story or something that you could say today. So, once again, I want to thank God. I want to thank everybody that's listening today, even if it's not live. If you come back and listen, thank you. At Bryant Bright Consulting, we're all about the people in the world and assisting others with obtaining their personal life and or company goals and getting on the path to greatness. You're the CEO of your own life. So start making the decisions today that drive the vision you've always dreamed of. You want to continue to improve, innovate, and sustain and just live your best life. So we're going to go ahead and get started.
Yay, sounds
Start off
good.
with would you rather questions. Thank you for the commentary and the hand claps, Mr. Bright.
All praises, all praises.
So the first would you rather question is, would you rather live in a tree house or in a cave? Mr. Bright, you can start.
Oh, okay, yes. I'd rather live in a cave. In a cave, you're underground. You'll be away from the elements. In case if a tornado come, touchdown or
Wouldn't
something,
it
you'll be
get
already on the
cold
ground.
in a cave, you think?
Say what?
Wouldn't it get cold in the cave?
Yes, but I have some ingenuity. I just have to go outside of the cave and find some type of aluminum foil, man. I think I can find that and wrap up in it.
Aluminum
I could
foil?
find some measures. Aluminum foil, if you wrap up in it, it keep you warm
Okay.
because it
So where are
reflects
you
the
gonna
heat.
find that?
Well, you just have to go out and make a you have to go out and make a pilgrimage on the outside and gather up your supplies and stuff that you may need. You may need fire, a light, or something like that, and you just have to go outside of that cave and grab some stuff. It's a lot of environmental waste out there, so you should be able to find some aluminum foil.
Okay. Anything else to say about
Oh, and
deciding to live in a cave?
well, cave is underground. We made of dirt. Uh, God said that He formed man out of dirt and breathed into his nostrils, and there was a
Oh,
living soul. So, hey, I'm close to the dirt, and I'll be right there on the ground in the cave. So, that's a good place to be.
all right. Thank you for that answer, Mr. Bryant.
You're
I'm gonna
welcome.
go ahead and say that I would rather live in a cave also. And the reason why I would choose a cave is because it's made out of rock pretty much. And that means it's going to be a lot more stable than a tree, of course, unless it's this big giant Sierra California tree or something like that. But
Yep.
those even fall. But the cave would be great because I would build me a fire to keep warm. um, and the cave will help me keep warm with the fire. So by the covering and the tree, it just wouldn't work out for me. Living in a tree, you'd have to live in the tree underground, or it'd have to be in the tree. I mean, depending on what part of the tree, I just don't see a tree being as stable as a cave, like that's made out of rock, like a mountain. So, yeah,
Sounds
I would have
good.
to go with a cave.
Yeah, sounds good. You can use the tree, outside tree, as a resource to go out and climb up and look out and then go back to your cave. Yeah,
That's
you can use it as a
true.
resource. Yep, everything is meant for a reason, so you got to utilize it.
Oh yeah, and if it comes down to it, and you have to use your natural resources to survive and live, of course, a cave. But yeah, you're right. You can always use a tree for that fire that I'm talking about. That's going to keep me warm, where I can
That's
cook my meals and have light in the nighttime. So, you know, trees are very important. It is a really tough one to choose in between the two, but at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I just get a cave, and there's always going to be trees, so you can always go grab some trees to do whatever else you need. You don't have to choose it to live in. So
right. And I think everything else will work itself out. Animals are around, and you'll be more safer in a cave, and you just keep them out, and you'll be all right, because they're gonna try to come in too.
yep. So moving on to the next, would you rather?
All right.
Would you rather win $25,000 or your best friend win $100,000? Which one?
Oh, I would rather win $25,000, and well, I would rather win the 25,000 because um, I want to use it in my favor. My best friend might have some other objective to use it for,
Okay.
and I want it in my favor. That way, I can gather all the needs that I want by using it, and I can give some to my friend. Well, he might not do the same, or she might not do the same for me, because I'm looking out for all of us. That's my primary thing.
Okay.
How about yourself?
Well, I would rather win $25,000. I would have to be very selfish myself also. Because my best friend, it would be nice if my best friend won $100,000, but at the end of the day, you got to think about yourself, in your family, in your household, and where you at currently in your life at this point in time. So of course, $25,000, I would enjoy that. I probably won't spend it, but me, I'm a big investor, so I'd find a way, which I already have a plan in my mind right now. On, I'm not gonna say, but yeah, I would take the $25,000. I'm not
I
gonna be too
heard that.
specific.
Yeah, I'd rather be a lender than a borrower.
I heard
By me
that.
by me having the money, I think I'll take care of the people. I'm more compassionate, and I
Mhm.
would take care of folks rather than relying on them to take care of me. They might change their mind.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to our next topic for tonight. Let me pull it up. It's gonna be Paul Mooney. May he rest in peace. I'm so
Oh
excited
yeah,
to talk about him because he's just that special to me. I'm a fan. Um, I never forget when we actually got a chance to see him in Phoenix, Arizona. That was just like
oh yeah,
uh, momentum, like
that was
something
awesome.
that I'll
It's a
never
celebrity
forget.
theater.
Yep, celebrity theater. That's right.
Yeah, that was great, man. And he was the headliner for that night, and it was wonderful, man. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed it. I know you did too.
Oh yeah, that man. He was
He's so funny.
special to me. Yeah.
He's so funny and real.
Hmm.
When they
That's
when
what
they
I
coin the
like about
phrase
him.
"keep it real, keep it 100," that was Paul Mooney,
Yep.
without a
That's my
doubt.
kind of person, you know. That's the kind of people I like. The people that's real, honest, upfront, raw, uncut, you know. And he was that kind of guy, but he was also hilarious too, and he had a sense of humor.
Oh
And I know one thing that I did like about him because he was a writer, and he was a writer for Richard Pryor, which I'm a fan of his also.
yeah, me
And they
too.
also work with Maya Angelou, and I'm a fan of hers also. So it's just like he's just such an amazing guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we had fun, man. Just to listen to him.
Mhm.
He said things that people just couldn't say, afraid to say. you know,
Mhm.
which was great, man. I
Yeah.
remember, when he passed away. I seen a commentary on him on one of them Panic Room shows, and they
Mhm.
were saying that that back in the day, all the comedians were together. Pierre and Eddie Murphy, all these guys and stuff. They was on the Chitlin circuit or something like that, and they said that he would they would have him at the comedy show, but he would not perform first. I think they scheduled him always last. And that was kind of phenomenal. They scheduled him all the way last, and I
Wow.
think they
Maybe
said that
save the best for last.
say the best for last. I think they said they saved him for last because he was pro black,
Okay.
and they said within 20 minutes he would run half the people out of the room
Wow.
so that the other comedians, right? Yeah, would run him out the room because he was pro black. But they said that the other comedians like David Letterman,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy, they would come to watch him, but they would sit in the back and in the corner. They wouldn't come up front, because they wanted. I think he said they wanted to get the Paul Mooney feel, you know. And they said that, so they would sit in the back, like hiding, and because they were afraid to be seen, supporting Paul Mooney back in those days,
Wow.
you know. Yeah, because people are, they always, people always wanted to say what he wanted to say, but they were
Mm-hmm.
afraid. They didn't have courage to say that. The
Yeah.
stuff that he was
That's how
saying.
it is
He kept
now
it real.
sometimes for some people. Yeah. He did keep it real,
Yeah.
and that's what I really enjoyed about him the most. And I was a big fan of his.
And he
And
didn't, he didn't, yeah, he wanted fame, I'm sure, but I guess keeping it real like that, he couldn't get fame like that, but he still proceeded on.
I
And
don't
like
know
you
if he
said,
didn't have fame like that because he's well known. He had to have some
he
type of
did have
fame, and
fame.
I
Yes,
know
he
who
did. He
he
had fame.
is.
He did have fame like that. I stand
Okay, I know
corrected.
he
He did
did.
have
I
fame.
mean, come on, he can't
He did.
come and be the head only individual performer for the night at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix,
Right.
Arizona, and not be somebody famous.
That's right.
So
That's right.
he was a
But you
very
know what?
important
You know
man.
what they said? They say he did.
What?
You know what they say he did?
What?
They say he. You said it too. You said he wrote for Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote for Richard Pryor. That means that he gave up precious gems.
Yeah.
He could have used those gems for himself, but that
Yeah.
he was a great man because he sacrificed and
Mm-hmm.
gave him the precious gems to use. Instead of taking it for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna
And I
talk
remember.
about it. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What
Oh,
you
so
remember?
I remember when we went to the Celebrity Club, and that
Celebrity
his jokes,
Theater.
man, the Celebrity Theater.
Mm-hmm.
His jokes were funny,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember they were also like current events.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he gave us the black news, news of current events for the black folks. You know, it was just current
Mm-hmm.
event news, and also he was funny too. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they mentioned on that show that Richard Pryor was funny. You know, he was deliriously funny, but Paul
Mm-hmm.
Mooney was funny, but he gave us the black news. So I'm sure he will be dearly missed.
Yes, he will. I'm gonna miss him dearly. May he rest in
Yep.
peace. And comedian
May he rest
Paul
in peace.
Mooney, who passed away at the age of 79, was a race man. As you said, he talked about the black culture and people. He also had an unwavering devotion to the black culture and the black people. Paul Mooney succeeded in having a legendary career as a comedian, writer, actor, and social commentator without selling his soul. With searing wit, Mooney, who passed away
Mm.
from a heart attack on Wednesday morning at the age of 79, was a griot of Black America by analyzing the cultural production of witness through the lens of comedy. Mooney was a race man and was unapologetic about it. His unwavering devotion to Black culture and Black people bequeaths to us a legacy that must be protected and upheld. Born
Amen.
Paul Gladney on August 4th, 1941, in Shreveport, Louisiana, Mooney cultivated his comedic stylings from the wisdom of the women who raised him, namely his maternal grandmother, who gave his stage name to him, Mooney. Although he relocated to Oakland, California at the age of 7, his roots in the deep South left him an indelible impression. Regarding his childhood, he said that I don't do drugs because my grandmother raised me. I like an old. He said I think like an old Black Southern woman. So if I'd had done coke, I'd probably be cooking pancakes. As a teenager, Mooney was a dancer and appeared on on a TV show, Dance Party. You remember that show?
Yeah,
But
I remember that.
he after seeing Lenny Bruce perform during the early 60s, he found his calling. In 1968, he was an emerging as an up and coming comedian. Mooney met another comic named Richard Pryor, which is another comedian that I dearly love. Recalling his first encounter with Richard Pryor in an interview with Pop Matters, Mooney remembered, I was having a party, and a friend of my sister's who was dancing at the Whiskey A Go Go had dated Richard Pryor and brought him to the apartment. This was during the era of Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice, when everyone was sleeping with everybody. So Richard came in and said, let's all get into the bed and have an orgy. And Paul Mooney said he threw him out.
Oh my goodness.
So Mooney and Pryor will forge on the most fruitful partnerships in the history of comedy. During a time when it was a rarity to see Black television writers, Mooney and Pryor were penning episodes of Sanford and Son, one of my favorites, Good Times,
Yeah, my
and Mooney and
mm-hmm.
Pryor also continued collaborations on Pryor's classic stand-ups and albums, including Is It Something I Said, Bicentennial Nigger, and Live on the Sunset Strip, as well as Pryor's
Mm-hmm.
semi-autobiographical film JoJo Dancer and Your Life is Calling.
Oh yeah.
So Pryor was tapped to host Saturday Night Live during its inaugural season in 1975. So he insisted that Mooney come abroad as a writer. And Mooney wrote Word Association, one of the best skits in the history of the show, for Pryor and Chevy Chase. And the skit, Chevy is, Chevy, excuse me, I said Chevy. Chevy Chase is interviewing Richard Pryor for a janitor's job. The white personnel interviewer suggested that they do a word association in which racist phrases are used. The skits culminates with Chase saying the N-word and Pryor responding dead hunky. The idea sprung from Michaels and the NBC executives being nervous about Pryor and Mooney being on the show. After all the BS I've been put through to get here, the effing cross examination Lauren subjects me to, I decided to do a job interview of my own, Mooney said later. Let me see if I can pull up that video. But Paul Mooney and Richard Pryor did a lot. Oh my God. Let's see this. This is the one that they're talking about.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
To see it.
You just see it, you can't hear it, huh?
Yeah, I can't hear it.
So since we
Right.
can't
Can the
hear it,
audience
that's
hear it?
okay. We're not gonna try to play it. This is one of Paul Mooney's last posts. Richard Pryor, first black, agreed to host the show only with his friend poet Jill Scott Heron. He also demanded that his writer Paul Mooney write
Something
all.
happened. You still on, honey?
Yeah, can you hear me? Are you still here? Well, anyway, flying
All
back to
right.
New York, a frustrated Lauren Michaels said he better be funny. Ha!
I can't hear you. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here still.
Homie the clown.
So there's no sound. Can you hear? You still here?
I'm here, babe. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Everyone can see and hear you.
Can you hear?
Must have some technical difficulties. I can't hear you.
Can you hear now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, we're gonna move forward to our next
Must
topic.
have technical difficulties. I don't know what happened.
Our next topic is the coronavirus vaccines. We're going to go ahead and talk about how they may not work in some people because of their underlying conditions. Are you going to be able to go ahead and take that over, Mr. Bright?
You're in the show. Everyone can see you.
I can hear you. You might have to come back in. You might have to go out and come back in. I'm gonna kick you out and bring you back in when you come back. So I'm gonna hold off on that until he gets back. But until then, I'm gonna actually go ahead and play this video on the topic until he gets back. All right, share. Let me get you in.
I don't know what happened.
I bumped you out. I bumped you out so you can come back in, and it'll work for you.
Oh, I didn't know what happened.
Are you back in now? All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I had to bump you out and so you can come back in, and
Oh,
I'm gonna play this video right quick, and then we're gonna go into your coronavirus topic.
okay. All right.
An extremely rare side effect to COVID, and it has doctors stumped, patients developing massively enlarged tongues.
It is truly bizarre. And tonight, Stephanie Whitfield is talking to a Katy woman who developed this condition. And we want to alert you, the images are uncomfortable to look at.
I love hamburgers and chicken.
Karen Washington recorded this video happily talking about her favorite foods because for 6 months, the Katy preschool teacher was fed through a tube. A stroke left her in a coma for 2 weeks. When she woke up, her tongue was incredibly...
I couldn't eat, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do nothing. It was just hanging all the way down to my chin.
She had what's called macroglossia. We told you about the rare condition last fall when we shared Anthony Jones' story.
I kept afraid.
He had just undergone surgery to regain use of his tongue. At the time, there were only 2 documented cases in the U.S. Since then, Dr. James Melville with UT Health has heard about 7 more patients.
I think I know all the cases in the United States currently because they have reached out to me.
Out of the 9 cases, all had been intubated in a hospital. 8 out of the 9 are Black. He says 2 suffered strokes. The other 7 were hospitalized with COVID-19.
Do you think that people who are surviving COVID-19, it's something about the virus itself that is making these people more prone to this super rare kind of crazy issue?
Yeah, I think it has to do a lot with just kind of where the virus is kind of attaching itself and the body's just kind of immunoresponse to it.
Dr. Melville is now doing a study to figure out if there's a common link in these patients' genes.
I often wonder, why me?
If doctors can answer that question by studying patients like Washington, they hope they can also figure out how to prevent it. Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the...
That's something new. I'm probably old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's something else. They say that, man.
Go ahead. I'm gonna pull up your article.
Oh, okay. They were saying that the corona vaccines may not work in some people, and that's probably because they have underlying illnesses. And that's something that I was thinking about, because there's a lot of folks out there that have a lot of underlying illnesses, from diabetes to high blood pressure, and everybody concerned about getting vaccinated and getting back together. But what about our elderly folks or folks who are incapacitated or with the underlying illnesses, Matter of fact, I just read that corona vaccines may not work in some people. It's because they're underlying conditions. Well, I noticed I had an article says that the CDC director, Rochelle Walensky, and the White House advisor, Dr. Fauci, everybody know him, the challenges of such patients and the vaccines in a recent news briefing in which they acknowledged that the first documented case of so-called New York variant B 1526 was found in a patient with advanced AIDS. Now, they
Oh,
say there was an isolated incident. They say early studies actually showed that the variants could emerge in a single host. So the coronaviruses, um, it's because people have underlying conditions, and that from studying other vaccines, for instance, they know that age and underlying conditions can be factors. People older than 65 have been shown to produce 50 to 75% of fewer antibodies in response to the flu shots than younger counterparts, which is why manufacturers produce a high dose version for them. And that's for the flu shots. But the HIV patients often receive, now with the coronavirus, the HIV patients have to receive 3 hepatitis B shots instead of 2. So, given that knowledge, some differences in the corona vaccine response of immunocompromised people were, they expected that. But shoot, I
okay.
didn't think about that. I was just thinking about all the people that trying to get back to normal life and everything, and I just didn't think about that happening. But also
Yeah,
they're
I've
saying
heard
that
different
you
stories.
still, yeah, they say you still have to wear your mask on the airplanes, trains, buses, and stuff like that, though. In the meantime, even though they're trying to say lift some of the mask restrictions and stuff, but also with the underlying people with underlying conditions, it says hematologist named Aga said that the fears that for some patients the vaccine may never work even at higher doses, and that they will have to rely on inoculations of those that are around them, because these people with like HIV or kidney transplants, they're not the inoculation doesn't work for them, and I didn't think about that. So they're gonna have to rely on the people around them to have vaccinations because it doesn't work for them. And they were
Got a
saying that's
couple.
why they were saying everybody. Go ahead.
What are you saying? I'm sorry for interrupting you.
They were saying that they were just saying that everybody should get vaccinated for the sake of those people who have the underlying diseases like a kidney transplant or HIV/AIDS, because if they take the vaccination, it might not work for them. So they were just saying that that's why people should get vaccinated to help them out. But also they said that the irony of all the transplant patients were being the transplant patients were being very, very, very careful. They were staying inside the house, but some of them are getting the vaccination, and they just terrible finding out. They fearful that, and they finding out that the vaccination doesn't work for them. So what are they going to do now?
So that's the thing,
That's the
is I
question.
keep getting all these notifications. Today I got that as more places shake off COVID restrictions, here are some of the countries and attractions that are reopening. That's from CNN. As the corona
Mm-hmm.
restrictions begin to
And
ease, some U.S. businesses want proof of vaccination from customers, but it's not that simple.
that's right.
So it's a
Yeah,
lot
it's not
going
that
on with
simple.
that.
Cause if you ask for proof, that might start a fight. you know, what do you mean proof? And that's proof for not wearing a mask, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
That's what I think they're saying.
of course. Because, once
Right.
you
So
get
if
your
you don't have a mask
vaccination,
on,
you're going to have a card. So they're like, "Oh, show us," but
And I
that's your
think that's
health.
illegal.
Yes, like I said, it's your health. It's going
Hmm.
to be a health record, a vaccination record. I mean, they have to put in a law or something or approve for something like that to be mandated. I mean, that's a personal medical record.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Well,
HIPAA
at least they
that we're dealing with, the HIPAA law.
right HIPAA. Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least they're not gonna. Well, it's better to penalize. I'll say penalize the people who got the vaccination than to penalize the people who have to wear their mask. Because I mean, if you want to go around without your mask, you just, hey, I got my papers, so then they let you go. But if you don't, if you wear a mask, then people, they like, well, that's normal to wear a mask. But I think people they want to get out and not wear a mask. But to
Hmm.
not wear a mask, I think you have to show your papers. They have to find a way, but I think that's the best way for them to show their papers or something like that. But it's
Are you
like Nazi
serious? Are
Germany or
you
something. Hey, where's your papers?
saying that? Is this what you're saying right now, Mr. Bryant? You're saying that in order to go into an organization, a restaurant, the movies, or from now on out, because of the COVID virus, people should have to show proof that they have a vaccination? Are you saying that?
Well, I'm saying that's illegal, so you probably can't do that. But if you're gonna be without a mask, at some point,
Okay.
it has to be where, hey man, don't mess with me, man. I got my thing right here, and
Yeah.
then you can move on about your way. So I don't know how they're gonna do that, but
I know you don't know how
yeah,
they're going to do that.
instead of
I'm saying,
penalizing.
do you think that's right for people that have to provide that type of
Oh no.
um, information, or should
Uh,
they just be wearing their
well,
masks in public?
I think they should wear their mask because
Hmm.
you'll never know who got it.
Hmm.
But
That's right.
the case is people gonna want to not wear their mask.
Hmm.
And so if they're not willing to wear their mask, I'm just saying it might be illegal, but those ones need to show their papers. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All
If
right.
not,
That makes
you need
sense.
to have masks on.
Hmm. Yeah.
It might be illegal, but it's better than penalizing the people with masks.
That's the
You know.
thing, though, is like, when the mask comes off for everybody, then no one's going to know if anyone got the vaccine or what, or if anybody has it or what.
Right.
So,
Right. You're right. You can't tell. So they have to trial and error. I don't know. I'm just talking. They're gonna have to trial and error it, and like the people who have underlying diseases like HIV or kidney transplants, they can't participate, man. And that's sad for them.
hmm.
That they can go take the vaccine and find out, oh, I still got to wear my mask. I didn't have to take the vaccine then.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you're gonna penalize somebody, penalize the people with the mask off because we don't know about the is it over or not. You can't. We don't know. If it's
But
over or
that's the
not.
thing. If
How
you
can you
don't
trust it?
wear a mask, they will be asking you. But if you do wear a mask, then of course they're not going to be asking you because you're going to be protecting yourself and everyone else. So,
Yeah, but I can see it now. Them people just gonna be looking at you funny. Oh, take off. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
mm,
Take off your mask. Like I'm not gonna do it.
they better get them turtles.
And then, and it's a very inconvenient, because we've been in this for a year with masks on and stuff. Mask
Hmm.
mandate,
Yeah.
and everybody want to bust out. They want to break out and see their family members.
Oh yeah,
And
I've been
the
talking
trying
about
thing,
busting out since a year ago.
I know that's where I got that from.
Oh no.
But the trying thing is that, you worry about getting out there, but you ain't, the other people that can get out there, They don't have no treatment or time to test for them. They don't
Mhm.
have time to test for the people that's sick. They're trying to get people out there as soon as possible. They're trying to give them incentives to take the jab, take the vaccine.
Mhm.
They're trying to get them into a lottery
Yeah.
zone where if you take the vaccination there, they'll give you options to a lottery to win a prize.
Oh, I saw that.
Just yeah, if you take the vaccine, and the people who can't take it, I'm talking about them, the subject matter. They got the underlying diseases. They go out and take the vaccine. They're like, what you mean I can't take the mask off? And their doctor's gonna tell them, we advise you to keep your mask on because you have underlying diseases. But I already took the vaccine. It don't matter, because you'll catch it. And so people gonna be afraid of talking to folks because they afraid they might give it to folks and stuff like that. So they're trying to rush and get it out there, but they're not. They don't have. I understand they don't have time if they're trying to rush to get it out there to take care of the elderly or the people, not just the elderly, but the people with diabetes, high blood pressure, blood cancer, blood diseases, kidney transplant or liver transplant. Those folks are at risk, and we have a lot of folks like that. So they
Yeah.
still have to wear their mask. And well,
Mhm.
on that note, I'm gonna wear my mask too for them.
I was wearing masks before the COVID-19 pandemic, so mask is just a normal thing for me. I've always worn because I never want to get sick. So that's just been my life.
Yeah.
All right.
But it
Anything
seems pretty
else?
hard, to wear the mask. I mean, people don't want to wear the mask. It seems pretty hard, that they don't want to do it. So they don't want to wait and see this thing out. Nobody does. It's unfortunately that we're in this pandemic, and we have to either wear the mask all the time, and take the vaccine if you want to or whatever. But even after that, you still have to wear a mask, and you're still gonna have to get another booster shot. So I don't know. Get used to wearing a mask. That's all I got.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bright, for that wonderful briefing on the coronavirus vaccine and how it can ultimately affect individuals that have underlying conditions. Okay.
I know because I didn't think about that. We was only like thinking about what they was putting out on the in the news. Like self-preservation. Everybody take care of
Hmm.
themselves. But what about the millions of people with underlying diseases?
Yeah.
I understand they sick, but when are you going to take care of them? And give them some guidelines, which still wear your mask, and they just have to adhere to it. And because we are in the pandemic, and they're trying to lessen the restrictions and stuff to get back to normal. But some people unfortunately still have to wear their masks, and I'll be with them guys because I'm gonna wear mine too.
I heard you. I'm going to be wearing mine. I was wearing them before and I'm going to be wearing them after.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right. Moving on to the next topic tonight, we're going to go over cryptocurrencies. So
All
here on the
right.
picture, you'll see we have Bitcoin and we have Ethereum. I am a cryptocurrency investor for Bryant Consulting. So I'm just going to say before we get started is that investing is a risk. There's a lot of risks in life, no matter what you're doing.
You still on?
So
Yeah, I'm here.
throughout life, you're going to take risks. I'm not recommending that you should take such risks. Investing in crypto for me has been just investing and holding and building my portfolio for growth. If you're the kind of person that's looking to invest to get some quick money or something like that, then, or if you need money to pay bills or something, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend you, hey, starting off small and trying it out, and don't go too big and you're just getting started in this type of thing, because it's a part of a market, just like investing in stocks and like real estate has a market. I mean, there's a market in pretty much everything that we do that has to do with finances and currency in this world. With that being
See,
said,
yeah,
what do you think about investing and putting your money into stocks and cryptocurrencies, and making those type of investments that could be a risk because there's a market that goes up and down? What do you think about that, Mr. Bryant?
well, I really wasn't familiar with it until you just explained it, and when you explained it, I understand that now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I think that since you said that, it really resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, put a little bit in there. You don't have to put a lot, and just see how it goes. And then put a little bit in there, and then I think that try to learn how to manage it. You put a little
Mm-hmm.
bit in there, then you go to the next step and ask when can you take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's something where you can monitor it where it rises a little bit, or at a certain point you can take it out. But put a little bit in there, but you have to be responsible and monitor
Mm-hmm.
when you need to take it out at the right time. So you have to
Yeah.
find out about that. But put a little bit in there, and not put your whole life savings in it, and
Exactly.
monitor it, and you might, it's good. We might be getting to some new currency.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
hey, I can understand it now.
Mm-hmm.
And and if it tank or whatever, hey, you only had a
Mm-hmm.
little bit in there, so you
That's
didn't
right.
lose much.
That's
You didn't lose.
right. Don't get into it and putting all your money in there. You got to pay bills.
Right,
Because you might
right.
not be able to pay those bills if you put too much in there, your life savings. You're going to be upset because it's a market and it goes up and down, just like any other
Yeah,
market. Yeah.
yeah. But if you got a little bit in there, and then if you ever find somebody like you who can help people
Of
to track it,
course, a
and
mentor,
then
somebody that has knowledge of it,
yeah,
that's been into cryptocurrency investing for a while and understand
some
the differences in the ones that you should invest in, and types of platforms that you can use to get started. Like, I know that, of course, there's Cash App now, also PayPal. Then you have Coinbase. Now you have Gemini. You have Forex. There's so many of them out there. Robinhood, which is very popular. Everyone knows about that one.
I
But
heard
there's so many out there.
Ethereum,
Ethereum is a
Ethereum.
type of
Ethereum.
cryptocurrency.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I just
And then
saying
I
I
know
ain't know how to
you've
pronounce.
heard about the popular one that everyone's been talking about, Dogecoin with the dog, the one that Elon Musk is
Yeah,
talking about. Hmm.
Dogecoin.
Yeah.
I thought it was Dogecoin. They call it Dogecoin. Huh?
Yeah. It's Doge. I used to call
Yeah,
it
that's why I call it
Dodge.
Dogecoin. Probably
Because that's
Doge
what
out
I
of it.
was
And then
saying, but it's
Litecoin. I remember
Doge.
Litecoin.
Yep, I got
Litecoin.
Litecoin. Hmm.
Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency. You got Litecoin. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of different
And
ones.
and right. And then you follow that, and then you find out when to pull it out. You just got a little bit, you can leave it in there, or you
Hmm.
pull it out, and just leave it a little bit in there. And then once you see that you put in like $50 and it turns into $200, don't take it out and spend it. Put it on something else, crypto like coins or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
Try to learn how to build it up and hang in there with it. I assume.
Now, what you
You know,
saying that, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that global cryptocurrency stumbled on Sunday, following a roller coaster week in which two main digital currencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum plunged by more than 30% before recovering slightly. So this is a point in time when a lot of seasoned investors that's been doing it for a while actually invest and get into it. That's what I'm saying. If you do decide to get in now, while it's very low to buy, just, don't think that anything is guaranteed, because nothing's guaranteed when you're into investing in the market, like cryptocurrency or any fiat currencies or stocks and stuff like that. So yeah, just be cautious. Don't go overboard.
Right. I understand. I see.
Bitcoin was
Yeah.
down
So
as much as 13% on Sunday, and it was trading at about 33,751 at 11:25 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday, down from its April record high of nearly 65,000. So once Bitcoin hit 65,000, best believe I saw a difference in my wallet, my crypto wallet, because I have crypto, Bitcoin. So on Saturday, the cryptocurrency was up as much 8% following a tweet from Tesla CEO Elon Musk that he supports crypto over fiat currency. So Ethereum, the coin linked to Ethereum Ether blockchain network, was down as much as 15%, while Litecoin fell about 18% on Sunday. Wow. The latest bout of volatility comes after a wild week of cryptocurrency and a multi-day sell-off that sent the price of Ether and Bitcoin plummeting. A sudden and sharp crypto sell-off on Wednesday erased more than 400 billion from the nascent market in a matter of 24 hours. According to data from CoinMarketCap, altcoins such as Dogecoin got caught in a similar whipsaw, and the prices swung 20% every few hours. So wow. Wednesday's rout was triggered by the People's Bank of China announcement that the digital tokens can't be used as a form of payment by financial institutions. Wow. So once they heard that, it dropped. Oh my God, they were upset. Wow.
Man.
So Bitcoin
Crazy.
fell to just about above a 30,000 mark on Wednesday, paired by some losses, and rose 11% on Thursday before sliding again Friday after China reiterated that it tends to crack down on cryptocurrency mining. So wow, they're gonna start cracking down.
That's more than half. You said it was 33, but it was up there. Man, that's
It
a
was up
lot.
to
I think you said it was 60
65,000 and
something,
came all the way down.
and now it's 33, and past that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
world's
I
best
don't
known
understand crypto.
cryptocurrency also still hasn't recovered from the Musk climate related concerns over its mining process, which earlier this month sent shockwaves across the digital asset ecosystem. The cryptocurrency market is under relentless selling pressure right now. Nicholas Crawley, analyst at the Daily FX, told Insider last week. The speed of the sell-off suggests that leveraged accounts are being hit badly, and the indiscriminate slump across the space also points to a lack of buying intent. Wow. Amid Wednesday's frantic trading, major crypto exchanges including Coinbase, Gemini, Binance USA, and Kraken all reported varying degrees of outages and connectivity issues. Wow. Whew. That was pretty bad. Yep, and then you got
I guess
people
so.
like me that are just like, investors. That's some bad news, that they gave out the Bank of China, No wonder why it hit so low. People are going to pull their money out. And that's the crazy thing, because they have NFTs, which have made millions of dollars recently. And they're backed up by cryptocurrencies, digital assets. That's what NFT is, non-fungible
Wow.
token. Yeah. So wow, it's a lot going on, man.
Hey,
People are getting hit bad.
it sounds like a lot going on. Look like we all in
Yeah.
this together the way it sounds like.
Yeah, just get your money in and get your money out if you have to. But like I said, be careful, when it comes to all this investing. You never know, it might go back up next week.
Yeah, there's no point, and I know I heard some horror stories, people taking themselves out, over
I have
losing
to.
money and stuff like that. That's not, don't get to that point, I guess that's why you say just put a little bit in it, not a lot.
That's right.
So you won't have to rely on it and take yourself out, man, just because of that. You never know. The next day, you might find out that it wasn't true or something,
So many
You don't wanna
illusions in this world,
go
and so you want to be
prematurely.
careful. Yeah. So my next
Yeah, you
topic
don't
that
want
I'm
to
gonna
take your.
go over, huh?
No, I'm just saying you don't want to take yourself out prematurely
Yeah. That's why I say be
because
careful
tomorrow is
with
a better
you.
day.
Okay, yeah, you do have another day tomorrow.
Especially with that, it changes up, it goes
Oh
up and
yeah.
down. It changes
Oh
up
yeah,
and
it
down. So
does. Don't let it stress you
each
out.
day. Yeah, let's stress it out.
So my next
Yeah.
topic is gonna be over
What
the
else?
lumber
What
and the
else?
plywood prices.
Oh.
Let me see here. So the lumber and plywood prices have jumped through the roof in the U.S. building materials. Prices will retreat in 2022, they say, returning to the pre-pandemic levels by 2023. So that's all connected and related to this pandemic. I think that some of the stuff that's going on with the cryptocurrencies and all that stuff too is related to it also. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
because
affecting us
people not
in so
working and
many
people trying
ways.
to, yeah, I see.
And
Mhm.
with the lumber and
Yeah,
plywood
people.
prices going up so high, that's affecting the real estate industry and the construction industry. Those are building materials that you need to build homes. Yeah.
And
I
why they
saw
going up so high?
um it says they reflect the
Corrupt.
housing specific issues and not general inflation. So
Mhm.
housing specific issue, they're saying. Of course, plywood and lumber is one of the basic things that are used in building homes. The two by
Right, I
fours
see.
and the 4x4,
Right,
plywood, that's what
right.
you use to put a house together. That's the frame.
And we're in the pandemic, and if you don't have people working,
Hmm.
transporting that stuff by truck or however they transport it, then you get limited supplies of plywood.
Hmm.
If people are not working or something, if the COVID is affecting the people work rate, I guess that can happen like that.
Hmm.
You think that's what it is?
Well, I think that it's a pandemic, and then you have to think about transportation, but you also got to think about uh, getting the lumber, the work, the labor, all that stuff most likely went
Mm-hmm.
up because it is a pandemic, and it's harder for people
Yeah,
to
yeah,
maneuver and get people like you say to work and do these things also, not
yeah.
just to get the lumber, but just building a house, period. Just like I saw the other day that some home builders in Houston, Texas, are attacking extra price tag of $99,000 up front for each home just to build
Mm,
the home, the basic framing part which is used to build it. You use plywood and lumber. So
Right.
they if you want a house, you're having that 99,000 tacked on. That's for the extra amount for the plywood and lumber. So
Yeah, it's true.
obviously,
Yeah.
there's some inflation going on, and they say that the general inflation, excuse me, is coming. But lumber is not an earliest sign. So they're saying that the lumber's not even an early sign of all of the inflation that's to come because of all of the things that's happened during the pandemic, financially to our economy. Wood
Right.
products prices typically fluctuate more than most goods. So wood products, this plywood and lumber is just like a cryptocurrency or the stock market. It's a part of the real estate industry, the housing industry, and it goes up and
Right.
down too. So that's why lumber's going up and down. There you go. There's your answer.
Right. It's all connected.
Yeah.
I see. It's all connected. Yeah. I can
It's
understand that.
because the home building
Yeah.
can
Yep. And
move up or
it's
down much faster than the sawmill capacity can, they say. Wood products have other
right.
uses that are more stable, such as a non-residential construction. They use them for crates and pallets. But the new housing is the largest usage, followed by home repairs and remodeling. And both of those activities are highly cyclical. So yeah, we know that happens all the time. Wood is fairly abundant in North America, especially in the southern forests. Excuse me. Modern mills are very efficient at turning logs into 2x4s and sheets of plywood. Lumber and plywood prices are so high now because of the short run dynamics of demand and supply. So they say that the wood demand shot up in the summer of the pandemic. You see, it's all related to the pandemic. Many homeowners were stuck at home, unable to vacation. With time and money on their hands, they headed to the local building supply dealers for materials to build decks, playhouses, she sheds, and even additional rooms. Then in the autumn 2020, home builders cranked up their construction. By December, singular family housing starts, seasonal adjusted, hit their highest level since 2006. These activities was driven by cheap mortgages. Wow. And it says all interest rates dropped in the early days of the pandemic also. Mortgage rates fell at a slower pace. But eventually 30-year fixed rate mortgages dropped under 3%, hitting a all-time record lows. The low mortgage rate brought more buyers into the single family real estate market, and working remotely persuaded a few long-time apartment dwellers to buy houses. But the huge impact came from the families that had anticipated buying a house in a few years. With extremely low mortgage rates, purchases penciled out in 2020 and 2021. Wow.
Wow. Oh man, maybe I should put this Corona back.
Maybe if you're going to be making
No,
noise, you should mute. You know what? I'll mute for you. All right. So wood products company would like to add capacity, but a new mill takes about 2 years to build. So before the pandemic, many new mills were being built as production shifted from Canada to the South. So it says, but the Financial Post reported that a plague of tiny mountain pine beetles, no bigger than a grain of rice, has already destroyed 15 years of log supply in British Columbia. enough trees to build 9 million single-family homes, and they're currently are chewing through the trees in Alberta and the Pacific Northwest. I saw some of those little bugs. The construction of new southern mills began in 2018 and 2019, which led to long lead times for mill equipment. Thus, building a new mill today would probably take more than 2 years. So the producers are currently trying to increase the output, of the existing mills. But labor is a challenge for most of them. So they had a few COVID-19 outbreaks among production workers that disrupted the production. Also, the mills also have difficulty hiring new workers. So there has been a long-term trend away from blue-collar occupations, partly a result of educators telling high school students that they have to go to college. That's good. You need to go to college. I recommend everyone going to college if you can. On top of that, mills are usually located in rural communities that have been losing population. Finally, the stimulus checks and unemployment insurance bonus payments have sapped some people's interest in taking jobs. Oh, yeah. That is one of the things that made them have to start working on removing those unemployment benefits. I didn't think that the stimulus payments and those unemployment benefits were pretty good. So I can understand why people are all of a sudden making more than what they were making currently in their jobs on unemployment, and they decide, oh, I don't want to go back to work.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand that they want to go back. They probably would like to go back, but they probably remember the mistreatment that they get from the job and decide not to go back. Because those jobs, they don't give you cake and pie when you work all the time,
Mm-hmm.
So they probably say, hey, we're not going back, man. That's something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lumber is something else. But yeah, I can understand. You know, the other countries probably like America's paved in gold. We don't have all that
Mm-hmm.
lumber and stuff to work with and stuff. We're limited, so you have to cut back on your lumber deals. America is the one that have all that stuff. So I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, we can't have our man cave and she sheds now.
They said that lumber and
Yeah.
plywood prices will drop as demand falls at some point. But it's actually affecting not just the direct labor challenges, truck drivers, which are vital to production, with the moving the logs from the forest to the mills and all that. That's what I was saying. Truck drivers are also in short supply across the economy. Glue shortages caused by the storm-related shutdown of the petrochemical plants in Texas also lowered the plywood production. But that's just a temporary problem. But there's so many different things that have impacted this whole lumber and plywood price rise. So they're saying that the prices will drop as demand falls at some point. But most of the people who can take advantage of the low mortgage rates will already have bought a house. And interest rates will eventually rise. I predict it says rates will rise in the latter months of 2021 and more rapidly throughout 2022. Wow. And my fellow economists see more muted increases. Wow. Rates are going to go up, man. By the end of 2023, the strong increase in demand for housing will be over. At the point, lumber and plywood sales will drop to more normal levels. So they're saying, hey, 2023, it'll go back down if you want to build a house. But right now, you need to grab whatever you can that's in the market for sale if it's a good price for it. But the last time I look, in certain places, the rates and prices are pretty high right now.
Seems like
Housings.
the virus has an effect on all of that, though.
Yeah.
Production, working,
Everything.
working, man. You
The
still,
market and all that.
so what they saying, the virus gonna go away by 2023?
That's what everybody was kind of predicting. Remember?
Yeah.
They said 2023, 2022, 2023, we'd be back to normal. But, right now they're saying that things are already getting back to normal. They're trying to get it back to normal, but they're still, reporting COVID-19 cases. But like they said, it's the lowest than it's been since a year ago. Less deaths, less cases, So they're looking to open back up businesses and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, something else, man.
So that's all the topics for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and start concluding this show.
All right.
Before I do that, I do my quote, and then we'll go into the final words.
All right. Sounds great. GOOD.
All right.
Yep, go for it. Go for it, sister.
So the quote for tonight is, courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. Maya Angelou, my girl.
Oh man, that's a good quote there, man. Everybody needs to get a little piece of that, even me.
Yep, it does take courage in this world. Without it, man, it's difficult and hard to get things done and accomplish things. And of course, there's going to be procrastination, Yep.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get some things done, definitely, if you don't have the courage to go for it and make it happen. If it wasn't for courage, we wouldn't be here today on the Bryant Consulting Show.
That's right. And Paul Mooney, he had courage, because he could have kept his talents all for himself. But he, he did a lot of, he helped people, wrote for a lot of folks, and gave them courage, gave them his talent. So, he could have been selfish, in this courage, to not be selfish, just not to be selfish, it's courage within itself.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for the final thoughts?
We're in the final thoughts now. Any more final words? I know I like to say,
I have some final
rest
thoughts.
in peace, Paul Mooney. You would be dearly missed.
Yeah, and I like to say all praises to Paul Mooney's grandmother, and to all the grandmothers who preserve us and prefer us. It seems like it's contagious. We give praise to all our grandmothers. A lot of folks do that. So thank God for grandmothers.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say a big happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, because we didn't get an opportunity to say it on the last show, but I'm going to say happy Mother's Day. Happy belated Mother's Day.
Happy belated Mother's Day.
We'll be coming up on Father's Day soon, but thank you, mothers.
Yeah.
You guys kick butt.
I'm virtually like I'm a mother's boy, but not to the point that I claimed. I'm just a mother's boy because I respect my mother, and I respect my sisters, and my aunts, where I grew up with them. How can I not respect them? How can I diss
That's
them?
right.
They formed me. I mean, they told me what was what before I even knew. I learned from them first. Everything.
Yeah.
So I gotta respect. Some people just don't do that. They don't pay respects to the people, not just the mother, but to the people that helped them out. You didn't come in this world by yourself.
That's right.
So you have to give thanks at some point to the people that aided you a little bit, whether good or bad. The bad person taught you not to be like them. And that was a lesson to learn too.
Yeah.
But I also want to say that with the coronavirus and all this stuff, and the elderly people, or not the elderly, just the people with the underlying conditions, kidney failure, AIDS. We have those people in our world. And we trying to get out of this coronavirus and real quick. So it's hard to think about those guys. Because one day, the next tomorrow, we may be in the same situation. But it's hard to think about those guys. And the thing is that it's here. It's real. We have people out here that we love that are sick. People in the old folks' home. People in the nursing home. That probably can't take the vaccine. Young folks with underlying diseases that can't take the vaccine. It won't take for them. So we have to either be mindful of those people. Later on or now. Because we all in this together. And another thing I want to say is that America, we got it good. Everything's paved in gold. The highways are in gold, and we have street lights. But other countries are not so fortunate. Africa, Australia. I'm just people back in the islands. They're not fortunate to have stuff like that. So they get a lesson too. They don't have to probably have to go extreme as the U.S. They can just, do what they were doing before, dig up make their own house by digging and using the shovel. We are spoiled, so I'm just saying we just have to go back to natural things, and gather your supplies and hold on to your supplies and just go back to your primitive state. It ain't gonna be all that. It's not gonna be all that hard to do. One day the internet might go out. So make sure you have your Bible or pencil and paper nearby. Don't forget the things that you're gonna really need. Matches and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
The stuff might hit the fan, and it can go out at any minute. But what I'm saying is the people overseas don't have the luxury like Americans have. Not saying that it's all good, I'm just saying that we have a lot of things over here, and people overseas, not all of them. I'm just talking about the islanders and people like that who have their own type of stuff. They don't have the technology, but they know how to handle stuff. They know
Yeah,
how
because
to
I know you've
go
been to many
around.
countries overseas.
Yeah,
So
they know how to go out underground and stuff. We lost that. We don't know how to go underground. It's hard to find a ditch around here unless you're in the southern states.
well,
So
some people do have bunkers, so some people are underground.
some people have apartments, and they don't have a hard table to go under in case of an earthquake or a case of any natural disaster. So we have to think about preparing ourselves for natural disasters because they are coming. So we need, they say, hey, if the earthquake come, get on the table, get in the bathtub. We have to be mindful of that and watch out and make sure that our homes are equipped with stuff that we can use for in case of a disaster comes.
Always be prepared.
Right? Always be prepared. And don't forget that, get you some matches, get you some lighter sources, get you some illumination sources, get you a generator. And if you don't have that, just harness what you got and don't rely on technology. Technology is good, but also keep the old stuff too. just for backup. Just for backup.
Oh yeah, that's one thing you'll learn if everything goes down. Your phones are not working, internet's not working. Hey, there's nothing like a book with pages,
Yeah, you can read. If
some
you get
pen and
bored,
paper.
you can
You
get
know,
bored, you can go back to reading a real book.
a coloring book with some crayons.
Yeah,
Puzzles, card games.
and
You
I
know,
said that for the people overseas, they don't have all that. Well, I'm talking about way overseas. They don't have all that type of technology, so they never got adjusted to it. So
but
they'll be more
there's people
prepared
here
than
in the
us.
states that are like that too. They live in the country or way back in the woods and the middle of nowhere, very remote, rural. They don't have all that. Some people don't even have internet access. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just overseas, it's here in our country also.
yeah. You're right about that. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter wherever you are, you should make sure that you have some foods and you're prepared for any type of disaster or storm or the next pandemic if there might be one.
Right, right. Well, it's obviously got to be coming. You know, this is just the beginning, probably. But if you prepared, you can weather through it. You can, get prepared. Try to carve out you a place to stay with your family. Concentrate on that, and when disaster strike, just you have a home to stay at instead of being homeless. Or if you're homeless, make sure you got a cave underneath one of these highways or something like that, for protection.
All right now. Well, thank you, Mr. Bright, for a wonderful show and being my co-host once again for the Bryant Bright Consulting Show.
You're welcome.
This concludes our episode for tonight. Thank you again, everyone. Make sure you tune in to the next episode. Watch our game plans here on Twitch TV and make sure you follow and subscribe. This concludes our episode for tonight. Thank you again for tuning in, everyone, and have a great night.
Bryant Bright Consultants.
We out. Deuces. 10 out of 10. Hey, I seen you in the chat. We don't play that here. Good night, everyone.
We love y'all.